बंद कर दो। बंद। किसी और को माइक मैडम प्रिंसिपल सर को प्रिंसिपल सर को ऑन प्रिंसिपल सर को ऑन किसी भी कंडीशन में आउट मत खोला ना प्लेन मिल गया तो नेट की कनेक्शन पे क्लिक करो।
ये सभी हेड्स को बताना है कि ये टर्मिनेट इन सॉफ्ट।
मैं अपना ऑडियो ऑफ कर देता हूँ। सर ज्वाइन मत कर लेना।
यस सर।
यहाँ भी मैं वैसे ही कर लेता हूँ ना।
हेलो मैडम, एम आई ऑडिबल?
यस सर, ऑडिबल है सर।
ओके।
इसमें एक काम करना, जब चालू होगा ना तब स्ट्रीमिंग करना शुरू करना।
स्ट्रीम चालू कर दिया सर, बंद कर दो।
अभी बंद कर दिया।
हाँ ठीक, लिंक शेयर हो चुका है सर।
हाँ लिंक शेयर हो गया है, ये दिखा रहा है क्या अभी? हाँ तो बंद कर दो अभी स्ट्रीम।
हाँ
हाँ हाँ हाँ, नहीं ये भेजा मैम वैसे ना, वो क्लास से डिलीट हो गया था, ये सुबह भेज दिया था हमने। अभी देखो यूट्यूब में कितने लोग आए हैं, पता चले होते हैं।
2 जन।
बस है ना?
हाँ
मेरे मैडम को बोल दीजिए उनको, अभी तो 29 ही है। आ गया।
Hello, can you hear me well?
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
सर एक बार check
Okay,
कर
sir. Am I audible?
Yeah,
ये
you're audible.
शॉट का
Okay, sir.
और
Super.
प्लस प्रिंट प्रिंट होता है प्रिंट्स क्या स्क्रीनशॉट आया कि नहीं बार देखो ये ये हाँ पिक्चर्स नहीं पिक्चर्स नहीं है कौन सा विंडोज कौन सा है सर मोबाइल में कर या इनको हो जा रहा है फोन से ठीक है
Audio check for FTP.
एक अभी मैम आपसे बोनस करते हैं तब शुरू करा दूंगा नहीं लेकिन वो इधर तो आएगा फिर इसे अभी आ रहा है मैडम बोल रही है ना ये अपना रूट नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि इसमें टू फ्लैश करना है तुम्हारा म्यूट नहीं है क्या
नहीं वो म्यूट है सर मतलब मैडम जो बोली वो यूट्यूब में भी आएगा ना
इसमें तो स्पीकर बनेगा ही ना
तो सब ईयरफोन्स लगा लेंगे नहीं
हाँ वहाँ बैठ जाए वहाँ पे तो लैंग्वेज कनेक्शन भी है
हाँ
हाँ तो वहाँ बैठ जाए
ठीक है नहीं तो तब भी आएगा ही ना सर
अच्छा यहाँ से
अच्छा
आवाज वहाँ नहीं है ना इनको यहाँ हो रहा है
हाँ ठीक है
तो वहाँ चालू कर दो वहाँ है वहाँ लगा म्यूट कर दो
फिर अब ये बंद कर दो ना सर ऐसे
ऐसे ले जाना था ऐसे ही ले जाना
ये लाइन कनेक्टेड है ना ये स्टॉक स्ट्रीमिंग कर देता हूँ अभी
हाँ क्या वहाँ चालू कर दो
हाँ
ऐसे ही होगा
Raja Sridharan from International University of Rabat, Morocco, and expert speaker of today's session. Respected Dr. Arun Arora Sir, Director, BIT Durg, India. Respected Dr. M. Gupta, Principal, BIT Durg. Respected Dr. Manisha Sharma, Vice Principal, BIT Durg. Respected Dr. Sheena Shekhar, Head of the Department Mechanical Engineering, BIT Durg. All the dedicated and learned professors, all treasured participants, with great joy and immense exultation, on behalf of entire Bhilai Institute of Technology, Durg, India, I extend a very warm and cordial welcome to all of you.
ये है ठीक है कहाँ से है क्या जगह है अरे ये है
This one of the country.
हाँ
BIT offers
है
bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs. BIT Durg is the first
चलिए
technical institute in the state to be conferred autonomous status by UGC, Government of India. 7 of its undergraduate programs have been accredited by NBA, and institute itself has A grade accreditation by NAC. The institute stands in NIRF 2020 rank band under 251 to 300 in the category of engineering. In tune with current times, BIT remained deeply seated to its commitment on building a legacy of impacting quality education in the region. The institution has endeavored to attain academic excellence, holistic education, innovative approach and global relevance in teaching learning process. The Department of Mechanical Engineering, which is the host department of BIT of this FDP, was established in 1986 along with the inception of the institute, with a vision to become center of excellence in the field of mechanical engineering and to develop an ambience of contemporary learning to produce dedicated personnel committed to cater to growing technological demands of society, thereby contributing towards nation building. The department offers BTech in Mechanical Engineering, MTech in Production Engineering, and PhD in several areas of specialization in the discipline. BTech of Mechanical Engineering program is accredited by National Board of Accreditation, that is NBA India. The department has patents to its credits on research work. As the entire world is stepping towards more researchers in technology and science, it is an appropriate time to conduct FDP with the potential theme of modern research trends in mechanical engineering. This FDP will unite professional engineers and renowned experts from research organizations and academic institutions to share knowledge and expertise in the field of mechanical engineering, education, and research. So, moving ahead today, we at PRT focus on personal mentorship with the collaboration of classic teaching with modern teaching modules devised scientifically. Presently, the department is headed by Dr. Sheena Shekhar. She has completed her graduation and post-graduation from PSG College of Technology, Coimbatore, and PhD from CSBT Technical University, Bhilai, Chhattisgarh, India. She is a representative of All India Students Committee. She was awarded as 100 Most Dedicated Professors by World Education Congress in 2018. She received Research Excellence Award 2020 for paper publication in Web of Science. She was awarded the Leading Engineer by the Institution of Engineer Bhilai Local Center in, in 2012.
मैं थोड़ी पता तेरे को मांग बता
Good morning. Warm welcome to all of you all present over here. It's indeed a matter of great honor for me to welcome all of you present here today on behalf of Bhilai Institute of Technology, Durg, India, and Bolo University, Kobalcha Institute of Technology, Ethiopia, to the one-week International Faculty Development Program on Modern Research Trends in Mechanical Engineering starting from today. I feel specially honored to welcome you all taking keen part in this important program. Life is education and education is life. And in this education scenario, teachers play a very important role. I think it becomes imperative to invest in preparing the staff and training the teachers so that the future of the nation becomes secure. Quality of nation depends on the quality of the citizens, and the quality of the citizens depends upon the quality of education they get. And so I feel it's very significant and very important to enhance quality in education, especially in engineering education, by approaching different techniques, modes, and approaches. The aim of this FDP is to enrich the knowledge of faculties through interaction with eminent personalities from industries and academics. The knowledge sharing will improve the teaching learning process to the students and benefit the society. Creation and dissemination of knowledge through research is one of the core functions of engineering institutions. As we have eminent speakers from renowned universities presenting their research works as case studies, I request that all faculties to attend all the sessions to equip with sufficient knowledge in the emerging trend of mechanical engineering. I especially thank DIT management for providing us all the facilities and support to carry out research-oriented programs. I would like to thank the management of Bolo University, Kokalcha Institute of Technology, Ethiopia, for extending their help and guidance for conducting the program. I warmly welcome all the dignitaries for giving their consent to take their time off to deliver the lecture for the benefits of all the faculties of Mechanical Engineering Department. I welcome you all once again to the International FDP and hope you all will have a great time ahead. Thank you very much.
क्या बोल ऐसी कॉल की थी क्या किसको बोल रहे हैं बोलिए
Thank you so much, ma'am.
हेलो
Vilai Institute of Technology, Durg, aims at maintaining high standards of technical education. The institution strives to become an icon of quality technical education not only in Chhattisgarh state but all over the country. We are pleased to have an originator of multifarious notions, our respected principal, Dr. M.K. Gupta. Dr. Mohan Kumar Gupta has more than 28 years of teaching and industrial experience. He completed his bachelor's in civil engineering in 1990 with honors. He did his master's in structural engineering in 1992 with honors, and in 2003 he obtained PhD. Two researchers have so far completed their PhD under his guidance, and currently he is supervisor of 10 PhD candidates. He has published many research papers in national and international journals and conferences. He has also served as reviewer of Iranian Journal of Science and Technology, published by Springer, and International Journal Structures and Buildings, published by Thomas Telford, London. In recognition to his work in the field of steel structures, he was nominated as a technical member of Structural Engineering and Structural Sectional Committee by Bureau of Indian Standards, New Delhi in 2006. Since then, he has contributed a lot to this committee and is now viewed as an expert in the field of steel structures at national level. He is life member of various professional societies as Institute of Steel Development and Growth, Indian Society for Technical Education, Institution of Engineers India, Indian Society for Wind Engineering, and Indian Association for Structural Engineering. He has also served as Honorary Secretary, Joint Honorary Secretary, Member of Executive Committee, Head of Counseling Wing, Member of Students Committee of Institution of Engineers India. He has successfully completed several consultancy projects of structural design. He has voluntarily designed various public buildings as a contribution to the society. He has also held various responsible positions at university level. So please join me for the address by respected principal about the laurels of BIT. Sir, please.
Thank you, madam, for this very good introduction of mine. In fact, when I study more, do somewhat more research, I only feel that I know very little in that field. So, very good afternoon to all of you for your e-presence in this inaugural program of this 5-day International Faculty Development Program being organized by our one of the oldest department, Mechanical Engineering, in association with Kombolcha Institute of Technology, Wollo University, Ethiopia. So we are very much thankful for this, for giving your permission and giving your acknowledgement that you have with this for this program. Our institute was established way back in 1986, as Madam has told, and the aim was to deliver quality education with time. Our institute has developed in one of the best institutes of the Central India, and now in addition to quality education, our institute is focusing on quality research work also. Our institute is one of those few institutes in the country that have all of its undergraduate programs accredited by National Board of Accreditation. Our institute is also accredited by NAC in A grade, and now our focus mainly is on research activities in addition to this education at undergraduate and postgraduate level. Very recently, our institute has been awarded by All India Council of Technical Education a very prestigious project, AICT Idea Labs project, wherein our faculty members and our students and other persons of the region can also come and do certain experiments to fulfill their ideas, whatever ideas they have, research ideas they are having, they can do the experiments in that idea lab and probably may come out with some innovative product. Our institute, as I have told, that mainly focuses on research activities also. This faculty development program is one of the best examples of this. Our mechanical engineering department has taken the initiative of organizing this faculty development program, 5-day faculty development program in association with Wollo University, Ethiopia. So again, we are very thankful for giving us this acceptance in association to do this program in association with you. The organizers from our institute and the organizers from the Wollo University, they both need this appreciation for this good kind of activity. The participants, I am sure, will get to learn a lot from this 5-day faculty development program. We have invited various speakers. We are also thankful to the speaker, Dr. Raja Sridharan, who is from International University of Rabat, Morocco, for this inaugural program. This FDP will definitely help our faculty members to get new insights in various fields of mechanical engineering, and then they will be able to transfer the knowledge thus gained to our undergraduate students, to our postgraduate students, and then they will get certain new ideas for research work as well. Our institute will definitely support any such research idea that our faculty brings up, and we will do all the needful so that they can do a very good research in the relevant field. And I am sure that they will also continue the research work in future as well. I am very much thankful to the management of our institute for giving us this opportunity to organize this faculty development program in association with Wollo University. So we are very much thankful. Once again, thank you, all of you, for your e-presence in this inaugural program. Thank you very much.
क्या बोलो तेरे पास भी मेरे पास एनबीए का आप बोल
Thank you so much, sir, for your encouragement and blessings. The theme of the conference, hosted by Mechanical Engineering, is very opt aiming at exploring new challenges to scientific committee during this global pandemic situation. We are exhilarated with the presence of Dr. S. Prabhakar from Volo University, Ethiopia. Now we look forward to him to throw more light about the FDP and about the partner, Volo University. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Sabna ma'am, for your excellent comparing. Uh, Distinguished participants and ladies and gentlemen, it gives a great privilege to welcome all of you for the opening ceremony of a 1 week faculty development program on modern research trends in mechanical engineering, which is jointly organized by Mechanical Engineering Department of Billa Institute of Technology, Durg, Chhattisgarh, an autonomous institute, India, in collaboration with the Ola University, Kombalcha Institute of Technology, Ethiopia. Hi, Dr. S. Prabhakar from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, KAOT, Ethiopia, feels proud to introduce Ola University, KAOT, Ethiopia to you all. First, Ola University is located at Desi in Amara region of South Ola, Ethiopia, and is one of the recently founded university in 2005. The university has two campuses, one at Desi and another one at Kombalcha. The Kombalcha campus is named as Kombalcha Institute of Technology for Engineering and Informatics. The university was established with a vision to impact quality education to the Ethiopian community to cater to their upliftment and to accelerate the industrial and social development of the country. Ola University is the fastest growing institute that envisioned being one of the top leading universities in Ethiopia and in East Africa at large scale in the following decade. Thus, it strives for quality education, research, and community service. Next, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to the facilitators of Billa Institute of Technology, Dr. Arun Arora, Director, Dr. Mohan Gupta, Principal, Dr. Manish Sharma, Vice Principal, and convener and the backbone for this event, Dr. Saina Segar, Professor and Head, Mechanical Engineering Department, coordinators Dr. Santosh K.R. Mishra, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department. Co-coordinators Dr. Misa Sabna Ma'am, Associate Professor Mechanical Engineering Department, and Organizing Secretary Dr. Devesh Srivatsa, Associate Professor Mechanical Engineering Department. Thank you. And next, I would like to introduce the chief guest of our Wola University KOT, Ethiopia, Dr. Malaku Tamen, who is the Ola University Scientific Director in the rank of Vice President. Next, Dr. Haptumu Mohammed, Ola University Deputy Scientific Director, and our coordinators and our Dean, Dr. Antana Mohammed, School of Mechanical and Chemical Engineering, and our Organizing Secretary, Mr. Jamal Mohammed, AMO, Head of the Mechanical Department. I want to particularly thank you. I want to wish thank you for all the chief guests. And in particular, I want to extend my hearty wishes to our honorable speakers, Dr. V. Raja Sridharan, Assistant Professor, Robert Business School, International University of Robert, Morocco, and Dr. P. Raghuraman, who is from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, Dr. Manimuthu from Nanyang Technology University, Singapore, Dr. Balaji K., Assistant Professor from Amrita School of Engineering, Coimbatore, and our Dr. Asamin Hairu, who is the Director of Research, Community and Engagement Technology Transfer, Ola University, KIOT, Ethiopia, who is going to deliver the lecture on last day of launch session. All of them have been working very sincerely since the beginning of the planning stage, and they are still here today for all of us. Even though they are very busy in their responsibility, we truly appreciate all your dedication, sir. I hope that everyone would take the results of this program to upgrade themselves, because this faculty development program is not just we are just giving the knowledge, it's just for upgrade the faculties. So finally, this is the opportunity time to me for declare the official opening of the International Faculty Development Program of Modern Research Trends in Mechanical Engineering, and I wish all 5 fruitful days of interesting and beneficial program. I warmly welcome all once again for this wonderful event. Finally, I want to quote. I want to just tell one quote for this today event. Research is like a driving, as there are many different routes that all leads to the same designation. So I want to just wish all the participants and all the chief guests for this 5 days event. And I want to thank the Bilal Institute of Technology for giving this opportunity. Thank you, one and all. And I hope that after this event also, we will just continue with many other faculty development program and research collaborations and many events in the future. So I want to thank all the participants and all the management faculties of the Billai Institute of Technology. Thank you, Honor.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhakar, for your words. Now, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon to all. I, Santosh Mishra, coordinator of 1 week faculty development program on modern research trends in mechanical engineering, feel privileged to welcome you all on behalf of Mechanical Engineering Department, PIT Durg, India, and Bolo University, Ethiopia. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our eminent speaker for today's session, Dr. V. Raja Sridharan. Dr. Sridharan is an assistant professor in the supply chain management business economics at Actuariate Lab, Robert Business School, International University of Rabat, Morocco. He graduated from the College of Engineering, Guvendi, Chennai, with a PhD in Lean Six Sigma and published various national and international papers in peer-reviewed journals. He worked in various reputed organizations such as Volvo Buses and Apollo Hospital as quality auditor. His current research interests focus on managing the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, that is VUCA, in the business operations and process improvement for service industries. He also consults in the field of process optimization with industries in private sector. Welcome you, sir.
Very good morning, sir. I hope all of you are good. Bonjour, salam alaikum, konnichiwa, hola, buenos dias, and finally namaste to all of you. I hope it's a wonderful day. So it's a real pleasure in joining you all in today's discussion on this International Faculty Development Program. We will be discussing about the VUCA and the business operation, mainly focusing on the manufacturing industries. So without any further ado, let's go into this today's discussion.
पता चल जाता है नहीं तू पक्का उनको कॉल लगाई होगी है ना वो बोले होंगे बेटा मैं छोड़ दिया
I think you can see my screen, sir. Am I right?
क्या कर दिया रे
Hello, sir. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible, sir.
Thank you,
पबजी
sir.
खेल रही है
So, very good morning to one and all gathered here. As you see, the today's agenda for our inaugural program is for the faculty development is how to manage the manufacturing industries in the vortex of VUCA world. So, as you would think, what is VUCA? So, VUCA initially derived from the US military operations, which states how a planning can go challenging or wrong. So they consider it in four different scenarios. The scenarios are V for VUCA, that is volatility, then U in UCA is for uncertainty, and C is complexity, and A is ambiguous. So now I'm going to give you real life examples how VUCA has taken place in the business operation related to the manufacturing process and how to overcome this problem. So this is the key agenda of our today's discussion. So if you take the topics that we are going to discuss today, first we are going to start with our VUCA world, where we'll be discussing about the different constructs related to the VUCA world. After this, we'll be focusing on the challenges in the manufacturing industries and how the VUCA world is implementing that. And also we will see some of the game challengers who have challenged this VUCA-ness in the business operation and made the business successful. And finally, very important as a faculty, how to publish high impact articles in big journals, because in terms of teaching, research, consultancy, and administrative duties, research is given more weightage in all institutions. And like Mohan sir said, the agenda for the college is to focus more on research. So I'm going to give you some topics how to publish in high impact journals with more clarity and with more ease.
एक आखिरी
So
क्वेश्चन
these are the agenda for today's discussion. So let us go on. So to tell me about myself, as all of you know, I was a BE Mechanical Engineering, bachelor's in Mechanical Engineering, master's in Industrial Engineering, and PhD again in
very lucky
Industrial
that you
Engineering.
talked to
I
me.
worked with organizations like
That's
Volvo and Apollo Hospitals in terms of lean deployment, quality control, and 5 years
I'm very much lucky.
implementation.
Thank you for
Then
giving
later
me
on, I
this
had the
opportunity.
thirst to work as well as to teach in the academics. So I started
Uh-huh.
moving myself towards academics. I started traveling to different countries to
मेरी
work.
बात नहीं
So I visited countries like Dubai,
ये मैंने
Bahrain,
कौन किया था
France, and now with Morocco, teaching with different institutions. So I learned from some
तू
of
बता तेरे को
the
ये
renowned
मजाक कौन
experts in the
बताएगा
world.
रे
For
बता ये
example, this is Professor V.G. Narayanan from the Harvard Business School,
हैं
teaching us how to teach students and faculties in terms
अरे
of
तो नाम ले
research
लेके
as well as
कोई
Harvard
दिक्कत
case
नहीं है ना
studies.
लेकिन मेरा
Now I
भाई
work with a very multi-diversified group
वैसे
in the
कौन
Rabat
करेगा
Business School.
बहुत
So we
लोग
work
बोले
with
हैं तेरे
faculties
को
from almost 20 different countries, different nationalities, and different culture. So this gives a diverse opportunity
तेरा
for me to
अटेंडेंस
learn
मार
about the
देता हूँ
people,
आगे क्या
culture in a global perspective.
वो तो मेरा
So
नेचर
this
ही
is
है
what
सबसे
made
बात
my
करते रहना
research towards VUCA more refined and more focused. So today I'm going to share you what are the things I have learned over this period of time.
हाँ
So first you can ask me
हाँ हाँ
this image. What do you think this image is representing? This image shows a match of cricket where two teams are playing against each other. So this is what happens when you finish your schoolings. Once you finish your schoolings, you are trained for something like playing a cricket. So people tell you have to become a good batsman or a good bowler, and you know
मेरी
all other
क्या
things
चीज़
about cricket. So I not go much about it. So you get yourself very trained, and you come out of your schooling and start your college.
मैं तो
Once you do your
फोन चला रही
education,
तो
mainly mechanical, electronics, or whatever it may be, they end up with something like this.
हैं
Okay, I know that you're a good player in cricket, but nowadays the market is seeking
देखो
to play football. So what happens is once you finish your engineering studies, you try to adapt yourself to the market needs and learn something new. So which is quite similar to the
ये आओ तो सामने
basketball that is shown here. So you can see it is a phenomenal change from cricket to basketball. It's totally
ये
different,
समूह में कर देता
but still you're able to do it. And once you join a
वो
job,
कहना रहे जैसे
imagine you join a job,
कि
you work
कुछ
good in
लोग
a
इस
job.
टाइप का
Now you want
होता
to
है
go to
कि
the
जो
next
कि
level,
सामने
you
लोग
get
थोड़ा
yourself
ओवर एक्साइट हो
promoted.
जाते हैं तुझे
That's
कुछ
when they
बोलते
say
रहते हैं
you need to learn
भाई
football
वो
because nowadays if you need to have a promotion in our
प्रमोट
industry,
कर देते
you
रहता
need
हूँ
to know how to play football. So this is how our
अच्छी
today's
बात है
world is
मैं तो
moving
सबको
on.
रोस्ट करते
So
रहता
the
हूँ
reason why I'm trying to tell it's
आएगा
VUCA is it is becoming very
कौन पढ़ा रहे
infinite.
मेरे को
The objectives keep changing, the targets get changed
और
every
कल क्या दिन
frequently,
भर क्या हुआ
and
तुम्हारा इसी
accordingly how
ठीक है
a player in end of the day all of us are just players in the game. So how do you equip yourself or adapt yourself? If you can't adapt, this is the very important thing you should understand. You
प्रियांश
will
तेरे
drop
फ्री
the
पेस्ट्री का
game.
ये
The
था मेरे
game
क्लास
doesn't
वाली
stop. There is always a
तो
new
अभी
player
तो
comes
चला
into
उसके
play
लड़के के
and
कंसेशन डाल
replace
दिए
your
इसको
position. So
ग्रुप
that's the first thing
ग्रुप
you
में
should
बोला
understand.
कंसेशन पेज को
So we are living in an infinite
आएगा
world.
लिख के कुछ
So
डाल दिए
if you're living in an infinite world,
हाँ
how
उसके
do we
बाद
manage it?
तो क्या
That's
हुआ
what our today's
पूरी
discussion is
क्लास क्या बोल रही थी
going to
पता
be.
है
I hope this is a very important point.
वेंकट
Please take a note of it,
पूरी
and you
क्लास
should also
कुछ लोग
remember
जो लोग चिढ़ते
how
हैं
this
मुझसे वो
infinite
लोग बोल रहे हैं
game
सर
is affecting
जबरदस्त
our lives.
प्रियांशी खुद आके
So
बोली
even if you don't believe me, the
मेरे को
typical example I would give is you have seen the movie Avengers
तो बोला
Endgame. In
ठीक
that
है
movie,
कुछ
if you
लोग
have
को तो
seen,
लगता है कि
each
मैं ठीक हूँ
superhero has lot of unique power, but
तेरे
at the
तुझे
end, to
कौन
kill
बताएगा
Thanos, they
कौन
have
बताएगा बता
all
क्या
joined as a
बताएगा बता
team to overcome it. Imagine just Captain Marvel alone or Iron Man alone could have not win the
हैं
Thanos. So similarly, today we are going to discuss how to win this problem of infinitism
अरे रुक जा
in the field of
सेकंड ऑप्शन है तो फिर
manufacturing
मैं बोल
in the
दूंगा
context
जैसे
of
जैसा
VUCA.
दिशा घूमती है तू
So, what
फिर
industry
क्या हो गया
expects from people like
हिंदी
all
क्या
of us?
होती
It's very simple.
और
So,
हिंदी
according to
बदलते
the
हैं
father of
हिंदी बदलता
manufacturing,
नहीं होगा
smart
तो
manufacturing, that is
बदलता है
Shinji Shingo, who is the
हाँ
well-known,
ठीक है
renowned manufacturing
हिंदी
expert,
का
who is
पता
the one who introduced the
लेकिन वो
concept of
बच्चा बच्चा वाला
total
वो
Toyota
बस
production system (TPS). He says very simply, if you want to work in any organization, no matter whether you're a practitioner or
हाँ ये
academician,
खराब लगा तुझे
it's very
ऐसा नहीं
simple. There are four attributes:
अरे ठीक है
easier, better, faster, and cheaper. If you're providing any solutions to any organization, any of these four features are very, very instrumental. And if you have all this, it's phenomenal, and that's what gives you a real change in any organization. So this is the first thing any industry nowadays expect. But what is the problem? Since the world is becoming more VUCA, it's very difficult to provide all these four in one solution. So it's very simple. Industries cannot predict their future, but they hire one of the best minds like you and me to help them invent the future for them. So this is the agenda. And to give you a simple examples, you take some of the world's best companies. They have followed this. For example, to give a quick start, Toyota. After the post-World War, they made sure that their quality is renowned. So they became one of the best auto manufacturers in the world. They even are the most sorted brand in US, which is not their home country. Take the case of McDonald's. They came up with the concept of producing burger at a very fast pace. Nowadays, McDonald's is one of the world's biggest fast food chain. Also, I should remind you here, McDonald's is also one of the world's biggest retail stores that has more real estate area than any company. So they have more value in terms of land also when compared to the business. Then Disney. They literally take care of all the best movie productions. So starting, for example, your Marvel, and now they're going into the Bing services like Disney Plus, totally revolutionizing the way we see the movie world. Louis Vuitton, one of the pioneers in the leather products. BMW, which I not say more, one of the best automotive manufacturers, and still today has adapted to the volatility in the businesses. Honda, Cisco, Microsoft, the things goes on. So specifically, I can give you an example from eBay. If you remember the case, eBay was started with one passion, okay, to create a website where people can look for auction. So you won't believe me, the first product that was sold in eBay was a broken laser pointer, and everybody asked why it was sold online. So they found the buyer who bought the laser pointer, and they asked why you bought this from the eBay as your first product. Very simple answer he gave. So he gives, I am a collector of broken laser pointers, and eBay was giving me for a cheaper price. So this shows different businesses. It is not just the manufacturing aspect. Once you manufacture, how you reach the customer, and specifically what the customer needs has to be found. That's what Uber was able to cross it. Imagine the founder, John Kalanish, in 2008, when he went to France, he had a conference. At the end of the conference, he found it very difficult to catch a taxi in Paris. So that's when he understood something very easy, but why it is so complex. So that's when the idea of Uber started. Then Google, I need not say, all of you know better than me, and also the case of Gillette. It gave a great boom after the Second World War, mainly considering the category of safety razors, which is the only one that time which had the best boost. So comparing all the countries and all the companies that have evolved over this period are phenomenal. Specifically, then I can think of the case of Coca-Cola. If you take the cases of Coca-Cola, the number of members in the United Nations could be 180 plus countries. Whereas if you see how much country Coca-Cola is operating, Coca-Cola is almost operating in 206 countries. This shows how strong is the networks, that is in terms of supply chain. So why I'm telling all these industries, these are the industries which were able to manage the VUCA in their business practices, and still today they're phenomenal in their growth. Okay, so this is the collation of different companies and their attributes, and we are going to see some examples in the coming slides. So why I always talk global? You can ask me why, sir. There are a lot of companies in India. Why don't you focus on them? Why you're taking everything global? It's very simple. It's very easy to benchmark. You have all the secondary data available in most. They focus on the customer requirement and they focus on the internet. So if you take Amazon, it started with the concept of a business that depends on internet, and you can see the rest of the companies that are example to this, like Alibaba, Rakuten, Walmart, Flipkart. I think all Indians know what is Walmart and Flipkart. Something new could be Rakuten. Rakuten is Amazon of Japan. I could say it in simple words. Amazon, and SoftBank is a company which we will discuss in the coming slides, but it has a role here. From this, the commonality among them is they were able to link the manufacturing, customer requirement using the technology of internet. So this is what made them the game changer and successful. They don't focus on how do you manufacture, but they focus on how your manufacturing products can reach the end customers. So this is what made them stronger. To give you a simple example, we take Walmart. There are almost 4,000 stores just in US, and you can almost find a Walmart within, I think, 2 miles. Sorry, 14 miles. Within 14 miles, you can find a Walmart store in US. That much is the set coverage approach in our facility layout and planning. We have a concept called set coverage, that is within a particular time how much area you can cover. So Walmart was able to achieve this efficiently. This shows why they are able to overcome this hookup. Rakuten was able to focus on the cultural aspect of Japan, and they were very successful. And at the same time, Alibaba is very closed within US, I mean within China. They are not much open to other nationals. It's very challenging, as you know, the concept in China. They work on their own system. So Alibaba was the early adopters of this technology and was very successful. So in general, you can understand from this. So manufacturing alone doesn't gives the more success for the organization. It is like how do you reach the end customer is the instrumental aspect. So these are the examples that I can share it with you, and even you can discuss more about this to your students in the following classes. Next, in terms of cross section over technology and very robust, I would say these are the companies. For example, I can start with Luxottica. Luxottica is one of the world's famous brand that manufactures your spectacles and sunglasses, which is located in Italy. But something peculiar about them is their market hold and the diversification. For example, most of the brands that you see, Oakley, Ray-Ban, Crisol, all of these things are made by one single manufacturer, that is Luxottica. But they diversified them under different product name, which you might think you're buying different products. But the end all ends up to a same company, Luxottica. The case with Tesla. Tesla is one of the companies that has challenged most of the things which are not unconventional. So this is where you have to think about the process of making things very easier and overcoming the unconventional process. To give a very simple example, EV, electrical vehicle, was one of the biggest challenges. But if you really think about EV, the concept is very simple because it doesn't have much moving parts. It requires a good, powerful battery pack, a transmission system that transmits the power to the differential at the back, and that's it. And a digital system that can control and monitor the power usage. So Tesla was able to develop this and come up with an electrical vehicle which is very, very game changing aspect. And obviously the biggest challenge they were overcoming was the charging points, developing battery with a longer life. So all these concepts. So from a manufacturing perspective, something that would be interesting to all of you is gigafactory. Please make a note of this. Tesla has developed something called gigafactory, which is very interesting, which you can evaluate in a detailed phase because it's a very huge topic. If I discuss that, that alone becomes a full discussion for today. Then it comes to Netflix. You should remember the concept. We just don't see how technology is very instrumental in our daily life. For example, if you see 5 or 10 years ago in India, using 2G and 3G it was considered as a luxury. Now 4G is a prerequisite, and we are entering the era of 5G. So because the drive towards technology is in a better level in India, we were able to afford technologies like Netflix. Imagine we don't have internet, still we are all working with 2G or 3G. Some of the countries still have this problem. So what happens? Even Netflix is there, we could not able to adapt them. So that's one of the main things you have to discuss in your future work is how technology is revolutionizing your manufacturing aspects. So that's one of the reason I put Netflix here. Now, if you take Netflix, they decide who has to produce what, which actor has to act which film. All these things are decided by Netflix in a phenomenal way, and they're getting more subscribers every day. And they had a very simple logic: connect to people in all times and provide them the media that they require, and use them a concept of subscription. The same thing applies to Uber. So they developed a system where they were able to connect the demand of the customer with the supply of the drivers. So all this technology also use something very common is the demand supply adoption. You see all these things they will have it, and also very similar. This is where they introduce the concept of subscription. Subscription is nowadays becoming very common, but it has a slow phase in India, but it is coming slow and steadily. That is, you subscribe for some services which you can get, and similar adaptations are coming soon in all other industries. So these are two research areas which you can link at: subscription concepts in the area of manufacturing, and also usage of technologies and industry 4.0 or IoT in the manufacturing process. So this is some area where you can look upon for your research. Then, as you know more about the Google is now divided into two different companies, that is Alphabet and Google. So Alphabet focus on the future of the company and emerging technologies, whereas Google focus on the conventional technologies and managing them. So their growth focuses on one aspect very clearly: which area the customer needs and which area the company has to develop. They try to match this to overcome this VUCA in the business world. So, and nowadays, the next thing that we are entering in the era of manufacturing is wearable technology. If you can see the concept of wearable technology, what people are wearing today has more importance than what your smartphone is. To give you a simple example, imagine you buy any smartwatch and you are able to connect it with your mobile. The same smartwatch can be connected with any instruments that you want. For example, as you can see in the slide, the company called Dexcom, they were able to predict diabetes using the Apple smartwatch. There are two types of diabetes. There is type 1 and type 2. Type 2 is more induced, whereas type 1 is hereditary. So where what they're trying to do, the study is, if you buy Apple Watch, the Dexcom will provide you this diabetic sensor. Using this sensor, they can understand at which point your insulin level drops very low, and accordingly they can prescribe you the medicine. So moreover, nowadays you can see they can take ECG with your Apple Watch. So all these things are evolving based on the concept of wearable technology. So again, here there is a lot of avenue for research as well as manufacturing. How do you come up with the robust system for manufacturing wearable technologies, mainly for different age groups, for infants, elderly people, and for other sports utilities? So, which is still under the area of research. For example, IP67. IP67 is a patent which is used for protecting this kind of manufactured equipment. So they are now trying to upgrade the IP67 to the next level. These are some of the areas which you can think about for your future research, or developing new sensors for different body parts and detecting the body anomalies. So these are the areas where wearable technology has endless possibilities, which should be explored by all of us. So coming back to the case, so in general, whatever I discussed right now is related to a concept, because in the field of an academician, you have to link it to a theory. So theory here I would say is the FANG theory, which is the Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google theory. These companies have acquired more than any kingdom. You can take the Ottoman Empire, Romanian Empire, Persian Empire, or even our Ashokan Empire, so Akbar, all this empire all put together, these companies have achieved or connected with more countries than these empires could have done. So from this, what you can understand, this theory decides how system works without ambiguity. And how the systems are working in this VUCA world is very challenging, and this is the areas where most people are doing the research. And how it relates to manufacturing is very phenomenal, because as you know now, most of the manufactured goods, based on their sales, it is more influenced by this FANG theory, which is discussed in journals like Marketing Science, Management Science, Manufacturing, and Operation Systems Manufacturing journals, which is in Informs. So where you can check all these concepts in a very clear manner. So in the end, we just want to discuss about the VUCA. So VUCA is focusing on the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So based on this, now we will be seeing some of the cases that has happened in the past in the manufacturing industries. So to give you a glimpse about how manufacturing industries are facing this VUCA growth. So instead of me telling you the problem, I'll start with the video, and the video will explain it more. Then I'll get back to you. But here is the thing: Samsung launched a product called Samsung Note 7 in the year, I think in the mid of 2017. It's the same time iPhone 7 was launched. This phone was considered as a game changer for the company, but company went under a lot of problems, and you can see what were the problems they overcome. And this video is a quick recap of all the occurrence.
The Galaxy Note 7 is dead, and Samsung is in a disastrous situation.
Sir, could you hear the audio of the video?
Everybody
Yes, sir, but it is slightly not so very audible.
Okay.
The Galaxy Note 7 is dead, and Samsung is in a disastrous situation. The company has now told everybody with the original device, with the replacement device, to power them down and that they're eliminating the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 permanently. This story feels like it's been going on endlessly, so let's take a step back and see how it started. August 19th, the Galaxy Note 7 is released to critical acclaim. Many said that this was the best smartphone ever made, and Samsung beat Apple to the punch with their iPhone 7. But almost immediately, by August 24th, there are already reports of these phones going up in flames. A short gap, and then on September 2nd, Samsung recalls these phones. But this is where the problems begin. Samsung said it was just a problem with one of the two different batteries that the Note 7 has, blaming it on one of the manufacturers. So the phone is recalled in places like the United States, but not in countries like China, which supposedly didn't have the defective battery. But then there's a delay, and the recall doesn't actually take place until September 21st, leaving lots of consumers all around the world very confused. But with new phones came new problems. Almost immediately, there were reports on social media of people having problems with what appeared to be the replacement phones. Then we even started seeing reports of problems with the phone in places like China, countries that supposedly didn't have that problematic battery. On October 5th, a Southwest Airlines flight in the United States even had to be evacuated when a Samsung phone went up in smoke. The owner of that phone said that it was one of the replacement devices. And then on October 10th, Samsung finally halts production but doesn't actually do a recall of the phone. In other words, the phone wasn't good enough for them to keep on making for now, but was okay for consumers to keep on using. Now, October 11th, Samsung has put the final nail in the coffin. They're asking all Galaxy Note 7 users to return the devices to a retail store in exchange for a different phone or for a full refund. But there are still so many questions. What is the problem with the Galaxy Note 7? Was it a problem with the battery, one of the battery manufacturers, or is it a problem with the phone?
So guys, as you could have seen from this video, the Samsung Note 7 had a problem with the batteries. Okay, so the phone had two different batteries. So initially, when they found that the batteries are not working properly, they ordered the battery A. The battery A was replaced when the phone was defective. But still, when they replaced the battery A, after a few months, that's after the user started using it, again they found that the batteries are creating problem for them. So then Samsung again went to a different supplier, then they manufactured battery B and they replaced it with the smartphones. But what happened is at the end, battery B also had the same problem. So this is where people got confused why this problem is keep occurring, and the solution was very intriguing. So what they found out here is that initially when they started manufacturing the battery A, there is battery is nothing but it's like a jam filled butter bread. So imagine if the jam and the butter has a separation. Similarly, the chemicals anode and positive has a separation called insulators. By any chance the positive and negative comes in contact, there is a short circuit. From the first battery that they manufactured, which is the battery A, they found that at the edges of the batteries, the edge was coming in contact with the positive and negative, which was creating the short circuits. So the Samsung replaced it with the battery B from another supplier. But unfortunately, in that battery also, when you take the battery, most of the batteries are manufactured without the insulation itself. So which is in turn again making the positive and negative comes in contact. So this created the short circuit, which in turn made the phone more defective. So once this defective has happened, you can understand how much it creates bad reputation and the quality, and also the consumers thinking about the product. How they overcome this problem is very important. So this is what Samsung has to say for their quality check.
Here's what happened and what we've done. Samsung rapidly took action for the Galaxy Note 7 and halted production. Out of 3 million Note 7 sold, 96% have now been returned. This past fall, 700 Samsung researchers worked to replicate the issue with more than 200,000 devices and more than 30,000 batteries. We are determined to learn from this experience. Here's what we discovered. Our findings concluded that the Note 7 device failures were due to two different factors that originated in and were specific to the two different batteries. As you can see in the first instance, there was an electrode deflection and incorrect positioning of the negative electrode tip in the upper right corner of the battery. In the second occurrence, an abnormal weld spot led to an internal short circuit. Now that we've identified the problem, we have undertaken extraordinary measures to further improve our quality assurance process. We've zeroed in on areas for improvement and developed an 8-point battery safety check, including charge and discharge tests. And then we check the internal components with X-ray scans. Technicians subject devices to extremes, inside and out. Extreme misuse, extreme weather. It's a rigorous regimen designed to reassure everyone about the safety of our devices. Our enhanced protocols go even further, beyond industry standards for quality and safety controls. It's all part of being committed to safer devices. Samsung's heritage and commitment to innovation will not stop. We will continue to put safety first and deliver the innovative experience our customers deserve. We will learn from this experience and evolve. That's what we've always done and what we'll continue to do. Here's what happened.
So next, guys, I'm going to discuss about a global thing which is related to the government sector. So last slide we discussed about the manufacturing issues related to the technology sector. Now we will be seeing how the government sector got affected. So this happened in one of the world's most efficient systems, Pentagon. The US military was investing in a fighting vehicle called Bradley, and they had a lot of issues in manufacturing this product. So rather than explaining them in detail, there are 4 different stages for this problem. So you can see them more in a pictorial representation, which gives you more clarity. Then we'll come back to the discussion.
I don't get it. What? That. It's the Bradley. Well, if that's the Bradley, then what's this? What's the date? 1968. Question is, how did they get to that? From this.
Gentlemen, our mission was to design and implement an infantry transport vehicle that would be a worthy replacement for the M113 armored personnel carrier. We have met that objective and then some. The Bradley armored personnel carrier will bring troops to a combat zone swiftly, efficiently, and safely. It will hold 11 men, plus a driver, and features a 20-millimeter cannon, which will provide ample firepower and at the same time flexibility. Lightly armored, speedy, and solidly engineered, our troops will be arriving at the battlefield in the very finest American technology has to offer. And at $1.5 million per, a real bargain.
Nice work, Colonel. Outstanding. Damn impressive.
In other words, it was designed to be a big taxi cab, drive guys to the battlefield and go back home.
But how did it end up with a turret on top?
Well, this is all well and good, Colonel Smith, but
Something wrong, General?
well, with this gorilla in production, I don't suppose there's going to be anything left in the budget for my scout.
Doubt it, Bob. You don't need scouts. You have radar, air recon, satellites.
You always need a scout. And you know what I'm thinking? Why couldn't this thing serve as a scout?
But it's a troop carrier, General.
But this is a speedy vehicle. Why can't it be both?
Well, for one thing, it's too big. And for the other, you can't really see out all that much from inside.
Sounds like a design flaw to me.
Design flaw?
No. We'll just stick a turret on top with lots of opticals.
But then, sir, it'll be even bigger.
Well, what's your problem, Smith? Not elegant enough for you?
Well, the thing is, General, it's kind of hard to do a sneak and peek when you're over 10 feet tall.
So guys, if you see this is where the volatility starts. To consider this manufacturing as a problem, you can consider this as a more like a project. In this project, there are three things any industry is focusing on: scope, cost, time. And you can see how scope of the project gets deviated because of the volatility in understanding. Also, I can see the ambiguity in decision making, and which leads to more time and also more cost. And you can see how the decision making keeps changing in this process. And this is one of the common examples why projects fail.
He's got a point, Bob.
Well, all I know is we need a scout. This is fast enough to do the job, and it's funded.
Well, actually, we're a hair over budget.
You turned the Bradley into a scout. We're going to be selling them off to some El Presidente de Chimichanga in no time. Anything for surveillance ends up south of the border before the paint even dries.
When you needed that anti-aircraft gun, who backed you up on that?
You did, Bob.
And who testified to appropriations on behalf of that gun?
You did, Bob.
I'm talking to appropriations next week. Now, do I sell you on my scout or do I not?
You did, Bob. And how about some portholes along the side for individual firearms so the fellows can stick out their guns and shoot people?
Good. And you know what, Colonel? We already have the turret. We ought to get the biggest bang we can up there. Where am I supposed to fit the extra ammo?
I don't know.
And now you can see how the designers are finding it difficult to adapt the decision that the management has taken.
Where am I supposed to fit the extra ammo?
I don't know. Can't you just shift things around, make some room?
You already got 4,400 rounds of machine gun ammo. Now you want to add 25 millimeter shells.
General wants his ammo.
You can't have his ammo unless he runs alongside this thing carrying it.
Well, can you just squeeze it in?
No.
Oh, come on, just squeeze it in.
We're not trying on Levi's here, Colonel.
Are you telling me that in a vehicle this size you can't...
So like this problem goes on. But to summarize this problem, I'm just going to show you what they were planning to do and what they achieved.
Which means it's loaded with
1,500 shells and 10-tow anti-tank missiles.
So in summation, gentlemen, what you have before you is
a troop transport that can't carry troops, a reconnaissance vehicle that's too conspicuous to do reconnaissance,
And a quasi-tank that has less armor than a snowblower, but has enough ammo to take out half of DC.
Fantastic.
Congratulations, General Smith. General? Hell of a...
So guys, as I was discussing here, if you see the VUCA aspect, one of the major problem in industry right now we are having in terms of manufacturing specifically is ambiguity in decision making. If you've seen this Bradley case, it's worldwide published. There are books and videos about them, which you can explore later. To summarize, they started with a project which costed them 16 billion US dollars. It took almost 16 years to complete, and it was a failure. And there was a lot of changes to be done. So this was some of the discussions that you can see here is the person's role and responsibility in completing the project. So the colonel who is focusing here doesn't want to see himself as a failure. So he was able to finance the project with flaws. Because of this, he was awarded the generalship. He got the promotion, but still the product had a lot of failures. Finally, the quality inspector, I think James Burton, is the officer from the Air Force who was able to identify all these flaws in this tank and was able to replace it. Why I'm telling you this, in terms of VUCA, we just focus on the attributes for manufacturing, but the real problem is how those attributes will affect the final product, the end product. It's where you use different techniques like design of experiments, statistical process control, lean manufacturing, and the Toyota production systems. In that, we again focus on overall equipment effectiveness, FMEA analysis. All those things are related to these kind of problems. So this to minimize the ambiguity in our decision making and provide the management with the best decision making. That's what will not happen as a problem. But still, if management is making a problem, it will be failure. So I'm going to show you another example where the management has taken a wrong decision. So you would have considered the case of Kodak. I may not say much about Kodak, but Kodak was the business leaders in the film industries. There's the concept of getting the film and loading it into a camera and taking photos. But later on, once the digital camera came, rest became history for Kodak. But something very unique in this case is Kodak was the first company to actually invent the digital camera. So if you won't believe me, in 1985 itself, Kodak has actually invented the digital camera. Then what happened with Kodak? Why they failed? You won't even believe in the year, if you see this graph very clearly, in the year late 2000s, Kodak invented something called Kodak Easy Share, which is a website to share your photos for printing them. Imagine that time there was no Instagram. So you can imagine how Kodak Easy Share could have become the next Instagram, but their ambiguity in decision making or illusion of understanding led to the biggest failures in this concept. And this is the downfall of them. You can see them.
So they understood digital. What happened? Well, they didn't understand something else. I'm quoting Michael Hiltzik from the LA Times. Kodak's executives couldn't foresee a future in which film had no role in image capture at all, nor come to grips with the lower profit margins or faster competitive pace of high-tech industries. And the inventor of the first digital camera for Kodak, Steve Sasson, agrees. He recalls that when he presented the camera to the technical personnel at Kodak, people loved it. But it was filmless technology. So management's reaction was, well, that's cute, but don't tell anyone about it. Talk about killing the golden goose. Kodak simply relied too much on film and razor and blades. But digital cameras were cheap.
So you can see how the failure of Kodak has happened. So this is what the most challenging, guys. So this is what again and again trying to iterate here. Because when you do a manufacturing in terms of a mechanical aspect, what I'm trying to say is it happens in a controlled environment. But mainly when it becomes a final product, when it reaches the customer, it is in a totally uncontrolled environment. So here the criticality focuses on ambiguity. Ambiguity is you think, the illusion is you think that you understand, but you don't understand. So how this is going to affect your company's profit as well as how it's going to affect the customers. So right now you would have seen the three different scenarios. One, we started with the Samsung's Note 7. Next, you would have seen the Bradley fighting vehicle, which has happened in the Pentagon, one of the most topmost places in the world. And now you can see how it has happened with the Kodak. From all this, what do you understand? These are the ambiguous process that is taking place. And these are the areas where we can do more research. And in terms of research, how you should link is how the manufacturing environment is helping or linking to the final product in terms of the book about. Here you can discuss about the attributes that can create deviation in the manufacturing process and how you can minimize them. So this will create more clarity in your final product specification, which in turn will reflect in the better customer service or better customer satisfaction, which in turn will reduce the poor illusion of understanding among the customers. So this is one of the key examples. For example, if you take the case of Samsung Note 7, they were more focused on delivering the product rather than focusing on the quality of the battery. So they end up with the failure. Bradley fighting vehicle, it was focused on the bureaucracy and the hierarchy in the military. So rather they focused on completing the project rather than focusing on the problems in the project. Similarly, in the Kodak's decision, they were focusing on their own benefits rather than focusing on the evolution of technology, because digital adaptation was very poor. Their awareness and digital adaptation was less. So as you could see how it has affected the Kodak's decision. So further, apart from this now, as you know, we are in the era of social media, we'll see how other products are evolved. So if you take the best manufacturer of Toyota, but they had one of the biggest problem in the early 2011, that is their braking system had a failure. The Prius, one of the flagship cars, had this issue. Let us see what was the issue about that.
Gas pedals that could get stuck. But the company is still wrestling with how to fix brake problems on its Prius model and repair the damage to its corporate reputation.
In recent days, our company hasn't been living up to the standards that you've come to expect from us.
Behind the scenes, Toyota reportedly is considering recalling the 2010 Prius because dozens of drivers have complained that the brakes seem to fail momentarily in bad weather or on bumpy roads. CBS News has learned that.
So guys, from this you can understand when the Toyota, which is a pioneer for quality, what they were found is that there is a lag in the braking system, mainly in the anti-braking system. When you apply the brake, the driver feels like the brake is not working for momentarily, mainly when it goes through any bumps or when the climate is very cold. So Toyota immediately went to their analyzing technique, how cause and effect analysis, and they found that it was related to the electronic system, which is focusing on the braking, which will instruct the braking system to work. In any ABS system, as you know, it is electronically controlled. So they found that there is a lag because of the software command that has been processed. So all they wanted to do is to recall all the vehicles and do an upgrade of the software, and this problem was resolved. And you would see how they were able to do it. So
for one of its problems, at least Toyota has a quick fix. Plug in the workshop computer, upload the solution to the glitch in the Prius's software, and the anxiety-inducing lag when braking in certain conditions should disappear.
It's very easy. It just takes 2 minutes.
Dealership garages across the country are at the front line in restoring the confidence of Toyota owners as one by one they address the issue, which has led to a recall of more than 400,000 models worldwide.
The situation could be better if Toyota had explained it earlier, but I don't feel that the problem needs a recall.
We are all working across the board for our customers. The sales department staff are contacting the customers by phone calls, booking appointments, and sending out direct mails. We will be responding to the situation fully. We will also be putting up notifications on the web to help assuage customers' concerns.
So this Prius has had its upgrade. Toyota's technicians around Japan are going to have to do this some 200,000 times as they battle to restore trust in the brand. And away from the shop floor, Toyota's leadership is fighting the same battle. None more so than the company's president, Akio Toyoda. He's promised to go to the United States to explain Toyota's actions there. The company faces 3 US congressional hearings where it's expected to answer for the sudden acceleration problems which have led to 8 million recalls around the world. Toyota has reportedly hired teams of lobbyists and PR executives as it aims to convince regulators that its actions so far have been sufficient.
I think that they have been a little behind the 8 ball because they're not used to having to handle this kind of controversy. They're used to handling really good news, and it's a whole different ballgame when you're trying to do damage control.
Back in Tokyo, the upgraded Prius is marked, confirming it's gone through the recall process. One down.
So guys, to summarize, you could see how they were able to overcome this problem. It was a software upgrade, but in spite of giving the upgrade, the biggest challenge right now we could see is the impact it has created. So this is what again in the VUCA world we try to understand. Because of the process uncertainty or the complexity, how much ambiguous your brand name and the value becomes. So how much you have to invest in this company to overcome this, and very biggest challenge for any industry is the PR disaster. So the PR disaster, you know how big it is, and the government has to approve your product for the people. So all this problem is very time consuming and money consuming also, and it's very simple. It's small issues create this problem. So as you could see, it is just a software update which just takes 2 minutes to do it, but in turn it has created a rippling effect. So this is what again I want to stress is the ambiguity or illusion of understanding of the processes create this problem. So now, since we are living in the era of social media, now I just want to discuss about one of the companies that is focusing on the VUCA world, how their social media campaign went very bad. So here is the campaign. So it was done by one of the sisters of the Kim Kardashian. So Lender Kardashian, they are a social media influencer. So Pepsi has taken them for an ad. But the way the ad shot it's very different, and it had a lot of different opinions, and it created a viral effect for a negative influence of the company. So which led to the bad reputation for the Pepsi. So similarly, recently you would have seen a similar event has occurred. The Portuguese footballer Ronaldinho has moved the Coca-Cola bottles and promoted that use water. He would have even done it just as a health cost, but that in turn has created how much? 4 billion US dollars loss for the company. So here, it doesn't matter how good is your product that you manufacture. Always focus on how it is related to the people, culture, and their feelings. So this is one such examples that you got. Similarly, there is one such company that did a good manufacturing, but did a very bad practice in such aspect as the Volkswagen scandal. You remember the case of the Volkswagen scandal where they manipulated the software of the cars to show that their emission norms are within the control. But actually, when you drive the car in road conditions, you will find it is emitting harmful gases. Whereas when you do it in the test condition, that is in the idling condition, it doesn't work. So they use the software to do this so that it can emit only the required emissions without the harmful gases. So this became one of the universal scandals, and Volkswagen are so big to fail. There are a lot of changes and policy corrections were made because the economy of Germany focuses on the car manufacturers, and Volkswagen has one of the biggest shares. It was not the case, but imagine if it's an Indian